Due to the unpredictability of Lexer's behavior, listener discretion is advised. The VOT Network presents the Voices of Terminus Show with your hosts, Yarnilla, Lexer, and Joshua.
Welcome to the Voice of Terminus Show. I'm your host, Yanilla. I'm joined by Lexa. Say hello, Lex.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Josh, say hello.
Hi.
Well, now that was awfully pitch.
Yep. So today's show is going to be about Pantheon Ponderings. We did a show back in, I want to say, September. Where we looked at all the tweets from July to September that were put out there, you know, the what ifs and scenarios, and we're going to be looking at some of these from October onward, where we basically last left off. So, you know, we're still easing our way back into it all and trying to figure out a lot of stuff, and real life still got us pretty much tied down. But yeah, we didn't want to leave you guys hanging, and so, but quick announcement for next week: there will not be a show next week. We have real life commitments to attend to. And,
what is this real life you speak of?
So yeah, I know, man. I can't believe it. Real life is actually, you know, I never thought it was real. It's
kind of annoying is what it is.
You know, yeah, it is very annoying. But you know, it's got to be done. Bills have got to be paid. A new PC's got to be bought. You know, some money's got to come from somewhere. So I got married today. Go figure. Well, congratulations.
My condolences. I am so sorry.
Yep.
I mean, congrats.
Come talk to me in 15 years' time.
Shit, 3 years.
Quickest honeymoon
See if your tone has changed.
Yeah, that was, yeah, exactly.
Honeymoon ever.
You know, there's a saying that basically once a woman's hooked you in marriage, the off switch gets turned on.
Why do you think I'm so aggressive?
Exactly. Why do you think my PC room's in the cellar?
That's right.
So I got time to run. If my wife catches the stream live upstairs, you know.
I got a window right there I can crawl out of. Oh God, she's coming! Save me!
They do say why is a woman smiling and why she's so happy when she's walking down the aisle before that she gets married?
Because she's thinking in her head, "Gotcha, bitch."
Because she's thinking, the last blowjob I'll ever have to get.
PG-13.
Hey, there you go.
So, I guess we basically let that one slip.
Yeah, whatever.
Wait,
you know what?
We do
so many PG streams this time. We just had when we were shooting the shit.
Well, you know, we did have listener discretion is advised. So.
Damn right. It's such a
that one, you know?
Exactly.
Well, it's because his disclaimer is due to my mouth, and I didn't do it.
Yeah, we'll have to get one for Josh now as well.
So you're gonna have legal action now.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's gonna try it. I just know it. Ain't that a bad word?
Twitch is gonna ban this stream.
Bring it on. I tried for 3 years and they never banned me. I gave up.
So let's try and get this show going and in the direction we want to bring it. So Pantheon Ponderings. So our first tweet was basically posted on October 3rd, 2019. In one word, how do you feel about healers? The ones that bug to res you in-game, not the alternate medicine kind. Who wants to go first?
I'm a little confused by this one. Like, how do you feel about healers? Okay, that's pretty simple. the ones that bug to res you in game. Has anyone ever really bugged to res you?
Yeah.
Yeah, never.
Usually I'm the one bugging them to res me.
Exactly, you know, me playing a healer, I've never felt bugged to res anyone in game.
Well, you bug me, but that's just breathing.
I mean, if we just take it on face value, I mean, hey, they're necessary. They do a job.
Mm.
They're never bugging me either, that's for sure. I'm bugging them.
Yeah, gotta have one. I keep trying to heal myself, but everyone tells me I'm gonna keep going blind. But
Yeah, it's always good to have that friend, that companion, that one guy you can rely on, be it a tank, be it a healer. You know, if you've got those two, if you've got those two in your group or your regular groupings or raids, that people that you know, healers and tanks that you can rely on, it doesn't matter what the rest of the group is. You're always going to have a good time, and you're always going to know you're in good hands. So, you know, healers for the win.
Yeah,
the last time I said that to someone, I got a restraining order.
So let's move on to October 7th. In one word, how do you feel about casters? The magic casting kind, not the wheel kind.
I don't have anything against casters in the real world, except when they're on like chairs and you're trying to sit down, the shit flies away from you. Casters in game.
It's one of those.
I kind of feel sorry for them half the time because in most MMOs they just look so freaking boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go on, Josh.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I feel sorry for them as well because it's such a fine line between pulling aggro and actually doing nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a love-hate situation. It's an unthankful job that they're taking on because, like you said, the balancing of you know, maintaining the aggro meter and not pulling aggro and trying to do DPS. It's one of those unthankful jobs because you know the healer or the tank's gonna give them shit if they mess up, you know, and so it's not a thankful job, but. And, you know, I never really was interested in playing a caster because for me, it wasn't something that, you know, where I thought, you know, this is going to be interesting enough to hold me. But with Pantheon, it's a complete different ball game, you know, it sounds very intriguing, very interesting, you know, this will most probably be the first MMO where I would actually try out a caster.
True. We should actually just try and answer in one word, actually.
In one word. That's right. That's right. It's in one word.
Well, you know, we are allowed to elaborate, right? You know, we're allowed to elaborate because this is
if I don't punctuate, can it be considered one word? Like I really like
exactly, you know, without a break point, you know, it's one word. Now the thing is, what, you know, this is good for us though. Remember, guys, why we do this? This helps us come up with ideas for shows. Because let's be honest, you know, we're three guys who have absolutely no freaking clue what we're talking about. We have absolutely no clue what we're going to be doing next week or the month after that.
Everybody that comes to the show knows that I am infallible.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Ungrateful.
Yes.
There you go. That's my one word. And you can take that however you want. Ungrateful.
I'm going to say sad. I'm just going to say sad.
Ungrateful job.
Yeah.
However you want to take it. My word's ungrateful.
Struggle. That's mine is struggle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so. Oh, the next one. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
In one word, how do you feel about melee? The close combat kind, not a confused crowd. So,
that's easy for me. Kill!
Alright, so there you have it.
Punch.
Yeah, so for me, right, I actually enjoy or I've always played healers or tanks. Those were the two archetypes that I always take. I either played a tank or a healer, and I did enjoy them, but for me there was always, especially when it came to the tanks, there was a hell of an unbalancing. Between the different tank types, be it a paladin, a dread knight, or shadow knight, or a guardian or berserker and everything. It was always so unbalanced. There was no real competitiveness. One outbid the other, and it's one of those. It's another situation for me, but it's needed. That's my word, needed, right?
Well,
Kiters would beg to argue.
Kiters definitely.
Just ping pong it and nuke it.
Right.
Well, I do think that for me, melee classes are definitely needed, because without them, the magic users would actually be dead and extinct in the game. To be honest.
Well, if you think about it, though, right? Melee. If we look back in history, you got the casters, you got the melee.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the foot soldiers that went on into battle, waving the flag, waiting for the musket to load up, and then at the far end you got the casters shooting off their fireballs. So cannon fodder. There you go.
Every time that there's a caster, say, I'm like, get the hell up, you stupid musket.
Get up, you bastard.
You're inaccurate. You're slow. Just go away.
So this next one's going to be interesting. Here comes a scenario. So, scenario. The raid boss is at 2%. You're the last person standing after a raid wipe. Do you take the risk and drop everything you have to burn it down, or stay alive to res a healer, summoner, people back to try again?
I've done this before. I've been in situations like this as a monk, where it's just me and the guy's down to about 1% raid boss, and everybody else is wiped. But all I'm hearing from everybody in the raid is, "You can do it! Do it! Kill him! Hit him! Come on out!" And we still wiped.
Yeah.
He had a lot of DPS. He had a lot of hit points. So yeah, ultimately, I would rather just, as a monk, I would try and feign death, and get the guys up again. That's
what our monks always did. FD'd. Boom.
Somebody died.
What about you, Len?
Wait, are we playing again?
In the grand scheme of things, 2% hit points on a raid boss is normally not feasible for one person to do, no matter what you are.
Correct.
So to stand and fight is not the smart move. That being said, it's what I do.
Yeah.
But that's just because I try to make people laugh, and I go down swinging and screaming at the boss and all that good stuff. But would I take if I was, say, a sissy ass paladin, or something a little more realistic, like a cleric, would I risk trying to res everybody, or would I just kind of run for the hills? I think I would risk it. Again, probably unfeasible, considering I can't really take a hit, because most resers can't take a hit very well. The smart move again would be just to run away, reset them somehow, and then recover. That's what you're going to see a lot of the pro raiders do. Is it what I do? Hell no.
The Inquisitor was unique, that it had the verdict.
Yep. I mean, I've been on both parts.
One thing I'm going to say with Catharsis, Verdict is a whole different story, because that is the dumbest ability I've ever seen.
It was kind of uber. But I've been on both sides of this as a warden, right? I've been on both sides of this, because I always like to push my limits and prove everybody else that, hey, I can do stuff if you just let me do stuff. So I've been on both sides of this, where I've actually tried and go down basically fighting, but also with all the stuff that you can use or that you've been given with these games as they've been modernized and brought into the new age MMO. I had tinkering tools where I had FD or basically an additional res if my other reses were down, or I could route the encounter, or even have evac as well with the warden. So I had a lot of utility to basically go and try it first, and if I do seem to start to stutter or get a big knock, I have other tools to basically either FD, evac, pick somebody up. I've got tons of lifesavers as well, so I'll try it first, and then if it starts to get too dangerous, then I'll opt to summon somebody or just drop dead, or
What do we think the top abilities you're going to expect to see in Pantheon, though? Because another cleric, they said they're going to have that like shield ability. The monk is obviously going to have feign death at some point. What other things do you think that they might bring in? Do you know?
We can talk about that, maybe a little bit later.
That's a show right there.
Yeah, that's a show
there
right
we go.
there.
We get on that topic, we'll be like, oh my god, it's past midnight.
Yep. But yeah, and again, it's one of those situations, though, really, isn't it? The raid boss at 2%. It depends. What class are you? How good? How well do you know that class?
How well do you know the fight as well?
Yeah. How well do you know the fight? What kind of additional tools?
How many of these have I had?
Yeah, especially drinking. God, I'll be there. I'll try it again and again. I'll see what are you talking about? There's 4 of me and there's 1 of him.
I can't remember the fight that I was in. I was drinking pretty heavily, and a decoy spawns, and the decoy just stands there, doesn't do anything while the boss continues to fight. But it was weird. Like, what if you had the boss targeted? You end up being force targeting the decoy, and he pops over here, and I just stood there the rest of the fight, just hammering on the decoy, and people were yelling at me like, "Shut up! I'm gonna kill him."
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing is, the raid boss is at 2%. Let's go and twist this a bit, and someone in the group hits accidentally evac.
Oh no!
I've had that happen a lot.
Yep.
Exactly.
Actually, in my EverQuest days when I was running raids, I would actually tell a lot of people that they had to keep evac off their bar.
Yeah.
Just because I had too many people accidentally hit it.
Yeah, we had this tank, right? Our main tank back in EQ2 on server Valor, right? I mean, he was an awesome tank, but he was the most unreliable person. So, Ludikai, if you're watching this from the Philippines, you know what I'm talking about. He would come into this fight, and this would be a situation, the raid boss is at 2%, and all of a sudden, he's like, oh, I gotta go. Leaves the group. It's like, what the F? What the F just happened? And this happened time and again, and it's one of those situations where you were mad, but he was such an awesome guy.
Yeah.
But we had some of the most funniest, craziest things happen when he showed up. You did not know if we were actually going to be able to finish this fight or finish this zone or.
See, I'm sorry. The competitive nature in me would be like, okay, it happened once. It's okay. Shit happens.
Yeah, we were.
Twice, I'm starting to get annoyed. Third time, you are no longer the main tank or whatever the hell your job is. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm giving it to someone else because you are unreliable.
No, we weren't competitive or anything like that. We did.
Oh no, even if I'm in a casual guild, just my competitive nature would have been like, get out.
Oh yeah, exactly. Me too.
Yeah. Right, so let's go and move on. So on October 21st, 2019, would you rather be stuck dual-wielding level 1 weapons or wearing level 1 armor in-game for 1 week, and why?
Oh, that's easy.
Easy for me as well.
I'm a tank. Give me the level 1 weapon. My damage don't F all anyway. I'm like...
Well, for me, it would be, as a monk, I would take the armor, because my fists are going to be doing the damage anyway, and my abilities are going to be the ones that are going to be winning out. So yeah, give me armor. Survive.
Monks wear tissue paper anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be armor for me as well. Give me that extra armor.
Yeah.
And be done with it.
You would wear the level 1 armor for a week?
Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
You want the level 1 armor?
Yeah.
So you want to have a good weapon?
Oh yeah. You should know me, dude. Right? I'm a cleric.
Oh, trust me, I do.
Fucking druid that actually likes to get involved in combat.
And when you die, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I fucking told you so.
Nah. Know your damn role. Know your class.
Know your place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So next up, community debate. What do you think will be the most popular class in Pantheon and why? This was October 24th, 2019. That's an interesting one.
That is.
The most popular class in Pantheon and why? I'm going to say it. Millennials, right? 2020, Paladins.
No.
I was going to say, part of me wants to say Paladins because people are afraid to work for their shit anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm actually thinking that maybe it's going to be the Rogue.
Mm.
Well, this is a timing question. This is a timing situation. If this is going to be pre-bards, then I would also choose a paladin. If it's post-bards, it's going to be bards all the way.
Mm.
I think so. So, yeah, I think that's... yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah. See, I'm going to have to agree with Chad. Rogues or Rangers is probably going to be your safe bet because their DPS. DPS is always oversaturated. Rangers going to be for the people that like action. Yeah. Rogues are going to be probably a little more laid back, I think. Mm-hmm. Part of me wants Dire Lords to be popular, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want them to be popular. I want all the Dire Lord stuff for me.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And the other thing as well, the less people you have as competition, the better a name you can make for yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I'll take back the Paladin. Actually, pre-bard.
You said it. It's
recorded.
It's live. It's went out.
We have evidence.
Reverse.
Hell, are you in kindergarten?
It all depends on what class is going to have the best traveling options for groups.
That's probably Wizard or Druid.
Yeah, yep, so I think those will actually be quite popular as well. In a game that's not going to have fast travel.
I'm gonna need a cleric healer. Who wants to be my pocket cleric? Because I don't want a druid.
You should be lucky that I'm playing a cleric as my main.
No, because the thing is, you'll be playing a cleric and you'll be like, I'm putting my seed in you, boy.
Yeah, I'll be in the zone. I'll be in the druid zone, like, where's my damn seed?
Exactly. Ex-Machina has got it. I just find death on my own first
answer. See, Yarn's going to go and he's going to make a compilation of him casting that seed spell, and he's going to put it on Pornhub. I swear to God. Just you wait.
Right, so next one.
October 28, 2019, who would win between a horde of goblins and an army of thrown-fast soldiers, and why? I haven't, really, have we seen a thrown-fast soldier take somebody on?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, this is an awful lot of conjecture, I think is the word I'm looking for. Because horde, how do you define a horde? How many is a horde?
How big is the army? Exactly.
Right, how big is the army? Numbers in a war or a large battle, I'm sorry, numbers matter.
Yep.
Now, you could assume that the human soldiers would have the better, almost said strategery, Strategy.
Hey, that's a buzzword. Say that again. Say it again.
I want your
say it crystal clear and loud.
Strategery.
I'm gonna soundbite that one.
Oh no, I actually use that word a lot when I'm talking to my little nephew. I told him use strategery. He's like, what?
Oh my god.
Strategy. But so obviously humans would have the better strategy. You would assume goblins would have the numbers. So really, it's a flip of the coin, unless you're going to go into an in-game mentality, in which case it comes down to, well, what are the levels?
Well, if you flip that coin to the Witcher, then it might be.
If you throw a coin to your Witcher, maybe he can afford to get a better song. Because it sucks.
And then with Pantheon, you've also got to take in the disposition and behaviors as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those come into effect as well. So that's a really tricky question to answer there.
Yeah, I'm not going to answer it.
Yeah. Moving on.
I'm going with goblins because humans suck.
Moving on. November 4th, 2019, in one word, how do you feel about in-game experience boosts?
Hate them.
That's two
I'm
words.
gonna say my first is it starts with F and ends with an uck.
Hate them.
Let's hyphenate that.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
keep that shit out of our game.
Let's put it this way. I would rather go to downtown Detroit and have someone in an alleyway harvest my kidneys than to deal with a game that has experience boosts.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in a cash shop.
It just really takes the hard work out of the game.
It takes the hard work out of the game, and it also takes out your feel of achievement, accomplishment, right? Because
it's a fast track. It's basically A to B faster.
Because everybody uses them. As soon as you start twinking or having an ult, it's get that in-game experience. Go, oh look, this weekend's a double XP weekend and blah blah blah. Oh, I've got 150% XP boost as well on top to go with it. I'll level from 1 to freaking 150, get my crafting up to max in like 3 hours. Boom, off you go. And people just the feel for accomplishment and what you've achieved and all the hard work you've put in there. The way I see it, but it also comes down to, what does the game company do as the game evolves over the months and years? What do they add? What do they change to simplify it, make it more welcoming to newer customers? And everything? It comes down to that key factor, right?
Yeah.
Because, to be honest with you, the way I see it, when we experience a game for the first time, in 5 years down the road, if somebody new comes into that game, he should experience it the way we did, right? Nothing comes for granted. Life is hard work. And, even
life sucks, get over it.
Yeah, even though it's a game at the end of the day, a lot of time, a lot of sweat, and a lot of hard work goes into it, especially in MMO.
Yeah.
See, there's two things. First, to the question in chat, Pantheon will get a release date when people stop asking for a release date. There you go. Second, experience boosts are just stupid. Period. They're lazy because, let's say, it's to help the little guy catch up to his friend. Well, then you can do a mentor system and actually put thought into it and do it right. Yeah. And not have to worry about it. Yep. But because all you're doing with these experience boosts is you are shortchanging your content.
Yeah,
and developers are always kind of saying that people are running through the content faster than they can create it. Well, then stop helping them burn through it.
Yeah, and give them reason to actually want to mentor, to want to go out of their way and spend 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, a whole week, a whole weekend or whatever, helping newbies out. Give them a reason. Give us, the experienced veterans, a reason to do it that is rewarding to them, rewarding to the community, rewarding to the game itself. Give us a reason to do that. Give us something where, you get a reward if you mentor people, for instance, if you know, and you have like an experience bar or whatever, where you might get a discount offer that you can, you know, give to a friend that's interested in the game to get the game maybe a bit cheaper, or get a subscription for free for 1 month or whatever. Give us meaningful rewards that are actually worth it, that do not impact the game itself, but actually impact the company and us as well, helping the company out. I would love to see something like that.
When EverQuest started doing their progression servers, I noticed one very, very distinct trend. They had all these experience pots and stuff, and you know what? Not as many people were going back with high-level characters to help lower-level characters because they didn't have to. Oh, here's an experience pot. You'll be out-leveling this zone in a matter of 30 minutes. So why would I bother helping?
So I got to quickly go and touch on what Xmoko said. I have Discord chat with friends that are 20 levels behind, right? And that's a typical, you know, there's actually some truth behind that. That is the case with a lot of people. They'll be like, "Oh, it's not a problem. I've got ways to communicate with these people. Communicating with alts, right? Communicating with them or alts or whatever is not the same thing as actually helping that person.
Right.
There's a huge difference, and it does go noticed. Right? People will actually value you more, have more respect to your guild, more respect to the role you're taking on, if you actually take your time to help them, rather than
You're not funny, Moko.
So, Lex, give Xmoko a timeout. I don't care if it was a joke.
But that requires me to do something. I'm far too late.
No, but it's actually good though that you brought that up.
No, it is a very good point, because a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Oh,
and for some people, it is enough to just sit there and talk with them.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's better to share the experience.
Exactly, definitely.
I mean, I play games with Josh. I talk to Yarn. I like Josh better. Simple as that.
There we go.
Oh, so now the truth comes out. See?
Done deal.
There you go. No, but
I'll pay more.
It's definitely one of those things where, you know, everybody's been in that situation though, where you log into the game, none of your core friends are on, or there's nothing really to do. You don't know what you don't know what you want to do, so you start playing an alt or trying out this or trying out that. Rather than do that, just go help somebody.
Yeah.
It's just as entertaining. You know, get to know
I met one of my very good friends because I was helping some random guy with a quest in World of Warcraft. I flew over, I saw him, I was like, let me give you a hand. I know this quest is a pain, and I know that's what you're doing. And I've been friends with the guy for like 10 years now. You know, it's like, so how many other friends did I miss because these other games don't give me a reason to go help people?
Right, let's move on to the next one, because this one's good. Right, November 7th, who would win between a tyrannical chicken and a dragon? Right, straight out of the bat for me, it's a tyrannical chicken, because a tyrannical chicken is basically the start of it becoming a dragon. It's the uber dragon.
I feel whichever one has been programmed with the most amount of hit points is going to win.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand tyrannical chicken. So I'm going to let Cat out of the bag a little bit, probably get into a little trouble, but whatever. During a session of a game's pre-alpha, there was a tyrannical chicken. Said tyrannical chicken would one-shot pretty much anybody. And these people tried and tried and tried to kill it, but they couldn't. But then at the end, because things were still in a very unfinished state, we'll say, they took a tyrannical chicken and they gave the said chicken the model of a dragon, and everyone ganged up on it. Everybody there ganged up on it. So I'm going to say that a tyrannical chicken and a dragon are one and the same.
Yes.
So no matter what, either would win.
Yep.
Thank you, Kellum.
Thank you, Kevin.
Anything to add, Josh?
No, I think that Lex is a fair point. I do believe that the chicken would have the upper hand, quite simply, because you lay eggs.
He lays explosive eggs.
All right, let's move on. November 11th, community debate. Do you like being able to change your character's appearance in-game, or would you rather all players be known for their accomplishments by allowing everyone to see their earned armor and weapons?
This is a tough one. I mean, when you say appearance, do you mean just your character model? Do you mean just your armor? Do you mean both? Because things like I'm going to guess it's armor.
Yeah, it reads like the show armor you can put on the second.
Yeah, so let's say that this is a question about transmogging the appearance of items.
Yeah.
Or something to that, or a costume slot for your character.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of those, but there are instances where I do use them.
Mm.
Because there have been plenty of games where you get this level 25 sword and it looks freaking great.
Yeah.
But then you get to level 45 and it's like you get this sword and it's just like a little freaking wedge. And you're like, what is this? Like something for cake? So I would take something that I felt is poorly looked or poorly considered and make it feel a little better.
Yeah.
Do I endorse the ability to be able to do that? Well, if I have faith in the developers and the designers, no, I don't endorse it. Because I shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be a step that I need to take.
Yeah.
If you wanted to have this really cool head-to-toe black armor, there should be black armor somewhere in the game that you can find. But you don't have to wear it all the time. Granted, again, that's a personal taste, but I know a lot of people who like to collect armors, and to them, that's a minigame.
Yep, that's what I did.
Yeah, same. I mean, in EverQuest 2, the one thing that I think was a really, really good thing in your homing situation is you could create the what do they call them? Where you could put armor on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the mannequin.
Mannequin, there we go.
Right.
And that was a great idea because you would go and visit people's houses and they'd have all the armor from the different areas that they've had or tough raids that they've been on, that type of thing. And for me, that makes a hell of a lot more sense than just being able to change it on the fly because, A, nobody can carry all that shit around with them.
Right.
And it just feels quite unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to add to my answer is that if they tie it into crafting, I'm all for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where armor should be meaningful. It should, you should be able to see at a glance that, it's an epic piece or, it's dropped from this unique mob or whatever. It's something that took a long time to get. Or be crafted and everything, but the way I see it is it's a bit of both. Armor should match and always look good. I always like looking good and pristine or bulky, but also have the chance to modify my armor. So if I take down this mob that has it drops a breastplate that has spiked shoulder pads with a skull on the side. That should be a unique identifier for anyone in game, knowing that is from that set piece or is from that piece of armor, and I should be able to take that off of there and put it on my armor choice, my choice of armor that I want to wear, and modify it a bit, right? Yeah. But with unique identifiers that people know that, hey, he got that, or that armor is not, representing this, but he's got that on there, he's got that piece from that.
See, Joxer, I'm not going to really slaughter and just say Joxer. I mean, I like that point where if there is transmog in Pantheon, there should be an option where you can actually turn it off for other players. I agree 100% because it's one of those things that it's a middle road option or a middle road subject where no one really has the right to say it shouldn't be there, but no one has the right to say that it can't not be there, kind of thing. It's because it's total personal preference.
It's one of those things that we've preached all the time. You know, we preach this in almost every show we do. The more options you give the community to decide for themselves how they want to be seen in game, or see others in game, or turn on this feature or turn on that feature, as long as all of these things that are imported into the game do not unbalance the game or give people slight advantages, this, that, and the other, then it's all about giving people options. Like the discussion with, you know, the endless discussion about instance housing or open housing or semi-instance. Turn that into an option. It's the same with the appearance stuff. If people want to show off appearance gear that is either unique, you know, the unique appearance gear like in EverQuest 2 I thought was great because it was unique. Yeah. It wasn't something that had stats on it. It was just a look and feel, you know. Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with that. Let people do that. If they want to go and spend the cash on a cash shop for, you know, unique items like this that are just pure appearance, go ahead. Well, I'm in full support of that. It's a great way to help, you know, throw some money towards the developers for something that doesn't affect the game. But give the people the options. It's all about options. You know, how you want to set up your UI, how you want to interact with the people in the game, what kind of additional you know, let's say they have a hate meter and an aggro meter and God knows what in the game. Yeah. If some people want to use it, go ahead and use it. If some people don't, turn it off. Give us options. That's what it's all about. As long as it doesn't unbalance
to the chat message right here, where Moko said that we talked about this a year ago. Maybe we're over 170 shows in, and I couldn't even tell you what I had for breakfast. So,
yeah, no, but I just think it's a very popular topic, and I think it'll be commented on endlessly because people are passionate about their look and the way they want to experience the game and how they want to experience the game. So I think there should be options available. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. November 14th, community debate. Where do you draw the line between fun and challenge? When does the fun stop and the challenge just become too much in MMORPGs, or is there such a thing as too much challenge? Yes, when I met Lexa.
Even my wife will say that. Yes, I'm a challenge. I challenge everything: your morals, your patience, your desire to breathe. I challenge it all. Recently, being a designer on a game, I can definitely tell you there is such a thing as too much challenge, because you have to ride this line.
15 years.
I'm halfway there. There's a fine line where you've tried and tried and tried at something, and it's just starting to feel hopeless, you know. So I think it's hard to say where to really draw the line, because you need challenge to have fun.
Yeah.
Or no, let me rephrase that. You need challenge to have meaningful, lasting fun.
Yeah.
Because you can have no challenge and have fun for like 30 minutes, and that's it. That's like cheating in any video game that you play. Yeah. It's fun. You might get an hour or two joy out of it, but at that you're just like, whatever.
Exactly. But if you're banging your head and you suddenly find a way to actually progress, then it's the biggest sense of accomplishment. Thank you, that you can ever have. So finally.
And it's like, you know, too much challenge. Like playing Dark Souls 1 with a mouse and keyboard. Oh my god, that's frustrating.
Yeah,
that was something that made me almost want to be like, you know what? No.
Right. So, November 18th. In one word, your thoughts on character attribute points.
varied.
Yes.
Define.
Huh?
Right, for me, it's all about getting this right.
Yeah.
I'm fed up the way it's done in most MMOs. They'll come up with some stupid crap table that makes absolutely no sense for your class to go down, where you have to spend points. Alright, just look at EverQuest 2, for instance. You waste points for crap you do not need or will not use or is outdated. If an attribute system was there that enhanced my character's abilities, then I'm all for it. Make it something where my abilities get an extra ability, a dot, a boost for the group. So like if I heal and my heal now gets, I put some attribute points into my single heal, and now I get this bonus where if I crit.
Yeah.
The group,
just to
or
add to
the
what
person
you're
that
saying.
the person that I'm healing, and it crits on him, he gets a +5 in strength or something like that for 20 seconds, or something stupid like that, something that is meaningful. Then I'm all for it. But
I
if
think
it's
a
just
good
put in there
example.
to give us something to do because the devs or the game's not, is far developed for an next expansion to come out or whatever, and they're trying to just, fill the void, then I could do without them. I wouldn't care less.
Dead air. For me, for attribute points, it's one of the things where if every attribute needs to have value to every character, you just need to figure out how to justify that. I'll take EverQuest 2 as the most left wrong example, where almost every single class is down to 2 attributes in that game. You just stack the crap out of them and you're good. That's the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
That's the brain dead Korean way to do it. But then you've got games on the far right that go way too far.
Yeah.
Like Anarchy Online, where you need a freaking spreadsheet to follow this stuff to figure out what you can use and what you can't use.
Yep.
Because your attribute points are so important.
Area.
Right. 1 point in the wrong area, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't put my pants back on.
Yeah, it's one of those. It definitely is. It's a tricky balance, especially when you're trying to give people choices and options and various means. Because if all those attribute points do mean something, right? Be it your normal attribute, strength, stamina, this, that, and the other, and then you've got your crit and this and that, your range weapons, your melee weapons.
Yeah.
If that costs me time and again to go and restack, it costs me 1 gold, it costs me 100 gold, it costs me 1,000 gold. But depending on the situation, where are we going? Who are we going to engage with? If I'm limited that way, that I can't basically attune myself, adjust myself, like when take soldiers for instance. When soldiers go out, depending on what they're doing, what their mission is it a night mission, a day mission, is it covert, is it this, is it that? They attune themselves, they equip themselves accordingly. They prepare for that situation. And that's how it should be. The characters' attribute points as well. We should be able to prepare ourselves and have, different means to put our points in. But there should also be a balance as well. Some kind of, I don't want to say punishment, but there should be some kind of balance for it as well. So if I have to go a different route now and reskill my, or spread out my points, then respect them. I might not be able to wear plate armor this time around. I can only wear chain armor because I'm going down. I have to go down. I want to go down this. I have to go and put my points in this certain setup because we're going into a situation where it requires that. Make it meaningful. Then I think that would be the way to go.
Right. So
I do believe that. Just to jump in, I agree with both of you, and I do think that for instance, if a fighter is putting points down in his strength line, you can only put on X amount of armor until he keeps on increasing his strength until he can put the higher end armor on ultimately.
Yeah.
So there's a benefit by increasing his strength and working out and becoming stronger. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that the points add value in how you benefit with the items in the world.
Yep.
Sneakin said something in chat where they enjoyed the old EverQuest AA system. I think that was a good system for the time. I'm not saying that it wouldn't work nowadays, but I think it would need to be altered a little bit. Like it would have to be an AA system crafted for each class.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of like, say, like a warrior can put 20 points into stamina to get more stamina.
Yeah.
Or he can get those stats through itemization. I mean, I like that. My thing is, my big stick is that I like lower numbers on things that are supposed to be very important, because that makes 1 point very, very valuable. So things like attributes, like a person's strength, I say try to keep that number low, at least keep the cap low or lower, for two reasons. A, makes each point extremely valuable. If that's what you're looking for, there's no doubt in your mind what you want. When you're looking at two pieces of gear. And also future expansions. Too many people the usual example of vanilla WoW and Burning Crusade. You went from like, hey, I've got 100 strength to I've got 600 strength and I'm covered in greens and I'm like not even at a Hellfire Peninsula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Maybe something to explore
Exactly.
further on as a show, because it's been a long time, and we've talked about attribute points and AA systems, and
the next time we talk about it, what we need to do is anyone that's watching this needs to get on our Discord, send Yarn or me a message to say that's the show you want to be on, because we need just get some other people in here.
Yeah.
Your opinion matters just as much as ours.
Exactly. So, November 25th, would you rather catch a boat or caravan to your destination in Terminus if it took the same time no matter which option you chose? Or choose?
I'd take caravan because I have a fear of water. Deep water, I should say. I tried to play Subnautica and that game just freaked me the hell out. I'm gonna when I get back to streaming, I'm gonna play that game and people are just gonna laugh. It's like a freaking horror game to me.
We'll have to play. What's that game called?
Subnautica.
Let's play Rift together, dude.
Rift?
Yeah, or Raft. Raft, I think it's called.
Oh, Raft. Okay, I was gonna say Rift. I don't want to play Rift.
We'll have to play Raft together.
Okay.
You're stuck in the middle of the water. You've got sharks surrounding you and everything. And you build this raft to survive. So, Josh,
I think I'll pass.
So, for me, if they're both going to the same place, I would probably catch a boat because I enjoy water. So, but I mean, it just makes no sense to me. Why both would be going to the same place?
That's what I was about to say. How is that possible? How is the boat that is in the sea and the caravan that's on land going to reach the same destination?
At the same time.
Well, not at the same time. Well, it takes. I know what you mean, but that means everything. Is everything on water? Is everything an island?
Can we get attacked by pirates? Can the caravan be attacked by bandits?
For me, it's all going to come down to the scenery.
Yeah.
What kind of scenery am I going to have when I'm on a boat? Am I going to have the typical same screens that you have in WoW and EverQuest and EverQuest 2 and all these other MMOs where it's like you get on the boat from the dock, the boat goes off, you count to 5, then the loading screen comes along. and then it comes out to the next, to your destination zone, and that's it, you're done? Or is it going to be something where I'm traveling for 15 minutes on this boat,
and all I've seen is water?
All I'm seeing is water. Or is it going to be something where I get attacked by an octopus, or a megalodon comes and attacks us and tries to eat us?
That's a whole lot of nope for me. I'll see you guys when I walk there.
Is something going to happen, or am I going to see things in the distance that are going to make me ponder, what the hell is that over there? That's what it's going to come down to. If not,
I can't remember. Did they say?
It's a question for your character there, Jan, because you are a mermaid type creature, aren't you? Why would you catch a boat anyway?
I swim faster than the boat.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you guys remember if they said there was going to be boats?
Yeah, they said.
I think they did.
Yeah, man-made boats as well. I think as well.
Maybe. So yeah, sneaking boats.
Yeah.
Sneaking.
It's all about the scenery for me. I'm all about the immersion, and I want to feel immersed when I'm on a boat as well, and have something happen.
Yeah. Like you see like rocks in the water, and you see fog conditions.
Especially if you think about the weather. Imagine it's a stormy night. You get on the boat, and now there's killer waves coming at you, and the boat can lopside.
All of a sudden, you're shipwrecked.
Exactly. Why?
God!
Why the hell not?
If it was a very rare occurrence, hell yeah. If it's one of those things where it's like a 1 in 10 chance, you're like, I'm not taking the risk of trying to get someone to come get me when I'm trying to get caught up to my friends and run something.
Make it something that's random. Like, and also, have
it's got to be super rare. We're talking like 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, very rare. You can still have a rough boat ride, but super rare events like that where you get stranded, or you get attacked by a freaking killer whale, or God knows what, or sirens basically try to trance you.
You hit a reef.
Yeah, you hit a reef or something like that, or the boat compass gets knocked out of whack because of some climate effect happening, and instead of going to destination Z, it now takes you to this place that's never been seen before.
See, now the storm idea would be neat, but like for shipwrecks, if you were, say, attacked by pirates or something like that, and you lost the fight, that could be the next step.
Yeah,
it's like you're lost and now you're shipwrecked.
Mini games like that in the game would be great. It's like with in EverQuest 2 when they brought out the adventure packs with the Gnoll hideout, with the Gnoll hideout.
Mm-hmm.
Where you got kidnapped and you have to find your way out.
Split paw or whatever it was?
Yeah, split paw, that's it. That was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
That was brilliant. Having something like that happen in-game in Pantheon would be cool as well. You get attacked by pirates now, and you lose the battle. So now you're captured, you're on this what looks like an island or whatever, and now you've got to try and get your way out of there. Is it a nuisance? Hell yeah. But if it's something that happens very rarely...
you just gotta balance it in terms of how often does it happen.
Yeah.
Too much and you're just like, oh God, I'm not taking this anymore.
Exactly.
But if it happens if you might, we'll say in the run of a year, it might happen like 3 times. Now it's something to talk about. It's a reason for people to take the boat because they want to experience that.
It's the same with the caravans. I want the caravans to be attacked.
Mm-hmm.
If I have, I'll have a caravan. I'm also, taking, we've got trade goods from Thronefast that we're taking to, I don't know, Scargold or something like that to give to them or whatever.
We don't need your stinking charity.
I want that to be attacked. Have the chance for it to be attacked, to be stolen. You can also have patrols. Hire patrols to strengthen your caravan. Give it meaning.
Well, that's a big thing with travel. I want travel to actually have a meaning, rather than just the meaning of get my buttocks from point A to point B. Like with EverQuest 1. Okay, so you sit there on the dock, you wait for the boat. Okay, whoop-de-doo. You get on the boat, you sit down, and you wait. The only thing that made it interesting in EverQuest 1 was sometimes the server had some issues, and sometimes some clients loaded slow, and all of a sudden you see this this person that would spawn behind the boat and go bloop. It's like, bye.
I mean, if you think about this, right, with this, traveling with boat and caravan and things like that. If you think about what the devs have always been preaching and trying to explain to the community as a whole and what their game's generally about and how it's designed. It's designed for you to feel accomplished with 2 hours of gameplay every day, right? You can play this game for 2 hours and you'll feel accomplished. So, wouldn't it make sense that things like boat travel and caravan travel have more meaning to it?
I would hope so, but let's face it, small studio.
Mm.
And possibly room for something in an expansion.
Exactly, and these aren't, over-exaggerated things, and these aren't things that need to be in the game straight away. It's all about basically, as a dev team, as a game developer who wants to change and change the industry's thought process, approach to creating meaningful content, meaningful games. This is what it's all about: creating content and looking at current content or existing content from the past on how to advance those systems. And this is why games get broken, because there's a system that was implemented way back then, and now they've gone through expansion to expansion to expansion, but they never really explored or had a look or took another approach. And that's why I'm hopeful and I'm grateful that VR are using Unity, for instance, that allows them to create layers where they can layer up features on top of the existing system that they've got, or ways to even modify it and break it apart. It's definitely something I hope they explore and leave room to do that. Like they've already talked about that one screenshot from Black Rose Keep where we talked about look, there's 2 moons. Is that other moon maybe a planet? They've left their lore open. Mm-hmm. To let the mind wander where it could go, and it's the same with the game. I hope that their game systems are left, they give themselves a little bit of leeway to think about adding in additional features, because if they're going to add in a weather system, then there's no reason why at some point later on down the road they could add in random events that happen, that your boat gets lopsided, your boat gets hits a reef, your boat gets attacked by a giant sea monster. There's no reason why that can't happen later on. Mm. It's just,
By the way, I'm watching this the gameplay of Reef, and I was fine with it until you get the shark. It's like, yeah, no thanks.
Josh,
nope, I'm getting spine tingles already. I ain't doing that.
Did you want to add anything, or can I move on?
Move on.
Okay. So, hot topic. December 2nd, weather, global or localized? What are your thoughts?
Localized.
Localized for me.
Well, it depends on what they mean. Does that mean like every single zone, just your zone, or they're talking about like?
Yeah.
Do they only use your local weather to determine what's in the zone?
What do they mean by that? Because if we look at weather in general in real life, you have the global weather channel, you have the global overview, from the west, from the US, from the west across the Atlantic, there's a huge storm wave of clouds coming towards Europe.
Yeah.
Is that what they mean by global? Like you said, is it if it's sunny in one zone, it's sunny in the other, so it makes that global? Or exactly. Basically, and this is actually a topic.
So when you go through the zone line, then it suddenly starts snowing immediately as soon as you go over that zone line. That's not something.
It's actually a topic that I wanted to bring up anyway, because I took some notes a while back when I was chatting with Vicious about something similar like this, and I think it actually merits a good discussion, because we had a few ideas as well of having unique zones that are completely unaffected by weather, that have their own system, that when it collides, when the weather collides with that environment that is basically in there, especially with the climate system as well, you can have weird effects happen to the weather that create unique scenarios. So yeah, it's this merits more information on it. I mean, yeah, it's a hot topic on the forum. So, but if that was a what would you rather? I'd go localized.
Yeah, same.
You know what I want?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a storm in one zone that actually migrates to other zones.
Yeah, definitely.
I want weather to actually feel like it's part of the world.
But then you want it global.
Well, it depends on the wording. I would like a global weather system.
Yeah.
But I don't want one weather status for every zone.
So I think what we'll do is when we come back from our short break on the 8th, basically on the 8th of February, we will actually discuss this in more detail. We'll actually talk about global versus localized weather and what kind of things we would like to see, what unique systems they could bring in, and how this could basically impact the climate system, impact certain zones, things like that, basically. And what kind, and how you would like to see this weather basically be. Because another question is, with global weather, would you like to also see global seasons? Or no seasons at all, like winter, spring, summer, autumn, things like that as well that could have an impact.
Simple answer on that one.
Like we've got what's the two continents called? Somebody help me out. Rainfall and King's Reach, I think. We've got those two continents, and the other one, the third one that's there. Does one have extreme tornadoes and things happen like in the US? The US is always befallen with tornadoes and
see, as a programmer, like I've already got a system working in my head, building up on how to do it.
Things like that. So we'll discuss that on the 8th. That's what we'll do on the 8th. Yeah. We'll look at this topic in more detail because it does merit a good discussion, and everybody's excited to see what their weather system's like, especially with them showing off some of the ideas with the lightning, for instance, that they've shared with the community in one of their streams. Where lightning could basically strike and get electrocuted.
Fry your rear end.
Right, so where were we? I don't know. Let's have a look. We did that one. I just kind of lost my thought. We did that one. I think it was 14. Yep, so we're now on 15. So the next one is December 5th. A would you rather suffer from encumbrance and have to walk a long way to bank, sell, or dump a bunch of your stuff to move quickly but lose profit? The same dangers apply along your journey no matter which method you choose.
See, I don't know. I see this as the same system. If you're encumbered to where you're walking and not running, you're going to have to dump stuff to move faster. So it comes down to you have an encumbrance system. Do you hold on to it and take longer to get to the point where you can sell it, or do you drop stuff to get to where you're going faster? That's how I see that question.
Well, the thing is, though, with one, you're actually not, you're going to lose it. You're dropping it. With the other one, at least you're going to make a sale or be able to save that item. So,
right. I gotta say, this is something that actually drives me a little bat crap crazy in games, because I'm a hoarder in a game. I am always selling stuff because I'm always spending it just as fast as I make it. And so part of me is like, I'm going to just, depends on how far. If it's going to take me 30 minutes to get there, I'm going to start dropping stuff that I think is worthless.
That's why Yanilla is going to be starting the petition campaign 2020. I want to see pack ponies in Pantheon.
I don't.
I want to have my pack pony. I want to be able to put some stuff on my pack pony. Have it carry
Well,
all
my-
my crap.
Just
My pet
because-
pony is called Yanilla anyway, so that's fine.
Well, I was gonna say she's not here, so she can't fight back. I'm gonna say you could technically shy. Here, hold this for me.
Exactly.
Nah, because this is one thing that's really bugged me though, Lex, right? The amount of shit that I'm carrying on my character, it makes no sense. I've got, broadswords, long swords, wide swords, 10 types of armor, this, that, and the other. But then they make keychains for keys. They give you keychains for keys. They give you a wallet for your money. They give you a bag for this,
you put all that,
you
put all those swords and all that armor in a bag. It's the same as your stupid little key ring.
Yeah, but the thing, but it makes no sense. But at least with a pack pony, and this is something again. I'm not saying that everybody can get a pack. It's something you have to earn, right? It's something you have to earn. It's going to take a long time.
It should be like a reward or something like that.
Right? That makes more sense for me. And it's something that, if you have a pack pony, you're going to have limitations as well. There should be limitations to what we can carry, how much we can carry, because, let's be honest, adding in systems that are more towards the realistic side on one end of the system, but then giving you bag space with like 25 slots per bag and no weight loss. You know what
I do with my inventory?
Stones. It's kind of ridiculous.
See, you know what I do with my for my inventory?
Mm-hmm.
I make a paladin character because that's all they're good for. Holding your crap.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Basic glorified purse holders.
And plus, another thing as well is, what kind of items am I going to be losing, dumping? If it's crap, if it's materials, if it's another house item, it's it's a bucket of fish otter food that I can put into my house for the 500th time, like in EverQuest 2. I used to hate those quests where you used to get house rewards, and you got the same reward 10 times over from the different NPCs. Drove me nuts. It all depends on what the items are.
Yeah, and see, and Septino comes up with a very good point. Like I've said before in other shows, there's a very fine line where too realistic becomes not fun.
Yeah.
And inventory is definitely on that list because, in real life I couldn't carry 6 different pieces or different sets of armor plus a couple swords and a freaking warhammer.
I do that every day.
Yeah, in your dreams. It's called a fantasy.
Socks, jeans, a t-shirt, then I got a pull-up.
You get winded walking up the damn stairs.
Then I put gloves on, So there you have it. Anyway, it's
as long as inventory isn't this Diablo 1 Tetris style like you see in Path of Exile and stuff, I'm fine. I don't care. That Tetris stuff drives me freaking mad.
That is really annoying.
Auto sword for the win.
It's one of those things where don't limit us from the get-go. Think about quality of life systems. Like, if you're going to have an inventory system, then let us allow us to sort the bags. If you're thinking about having people be able to stack items or stack materials, then do it from the get-go. Don't wait for it and go, hey, guess what? Now you can stack. Instead of having 10 wood in your inventory, taking up 10 spaces, now you can stack them up to 10. Then do it from the get-go. Quality of life features. It doesn't matter if I've got 10 or 100 or 500. Somebody who wants to gather is going to gather, and he's going to run back, put it in the bank, and go out again. That's what people do. So it's all about quality of life. And that Tetris stuff used to drive me mad. I mean, didn't Grim Dawn have that in it as well? Well,
yes.
Like this item.
But they had an auto sort.
Yeah.
And an auto stack button. Thank God. Although I'm sitting there going, why don't you just do that every time they pick up a freaking item?
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's actually one of the reasons why I stopped playing Grim Dawn, is because the inventory system drove me nuts.
Oh, this one's going to be this is going to be a fighter. This one, community debate. If you had to choose one to be in the game, flying mounts, ground mounts, and why?
Ground mounts. Everyone that says flying mounts is period. End of story. The only reason people choose flying mounts is because they want to pass content. And if you want to buy past content, then why are you even playing the game?
Everybody will go for ground mounts, that's for sure.
Yeah,
let the hate flow.
Right, there's a lot of people out there that will go ground mounts, but inside they're saying flying mounts, flying mounts.
No, they're not.
Not me.
Not me.
I think anyone that likes okay, Reign of Darkness. A lot of people have been playing that lately. I enjoy the game. I stopped playing, well, for a couple of reasons. But one of the biggest reasons was a very nice person gifted me a flying mount. And whenever I do manage to find the time to play, I can't use it. The minute I use the freaking flying mount, I'm like, why? You know? It's just instantly go from here to here. Done.
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
They're just asinine. And for the most part, they end up just being something for people to stroke their own egos. It's like, oh, my flying mount's cooler.
I think the biggest problem is, like you said, it's the skipping of content, right? If there was a way, a system to prevent that from happening, like
Apple just gave you one.
Giving you a certain endurance that the flying mounts has, a certain distance, or if you're in a zone that's got a climate in it, then you can't use a flying mount, or depending on the weather, this, that, and the other. It's all about basically how to limit that. Because
well, that's the thing.
It's barely impossible.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It has to come with limitations. In World of Warcraft, from what I remember, flying mounts were virtually unlimited, which made them just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like EverQuest 2.
The game basically became a game of leapfrog from where you want to go to where you need to go. That's all it was. There was no journey anymore. But you've got games like Terra where flying mounts have an endurance when they fly. You've got Arcade with the gliders where you gotta glide. I think there was a way to get an updraft, but I forget it. That don't matter. It was limited. It wasn't useful everywhere. If that's the kind of flying mount, then sure, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But if you give me an unlimited one like freaking Warcraft, then I'm sorry, you can just go take a long walk off a short pier.
And the thing is as well that I noticed, for instance, with EverQuest 2, right? I mean, yeah, we all had flying mounts. Everybody did. Everybody used them. Period. Yeah. Anybody saying anything else is a liar.
You had to keep up with people.
The thing is, for me though, with the flying mounts, they put so much effort in the way these things looked, right? And they had majestical looking creatures in there, griffins, dragons, you name it. And that's what basically I found very, that's what attracted me towards it, because there was no more effort put into the ground mounts. They gave it a limit of, boom, 200 run speed, period. That's the maximum the ground mounts would basically be able to run. The flying mounts, freaking hell, they would just go off, right? And they put so much detail in the creation of the way they looked and the effects and particles and everything. But the ground mounts, they just look like shite.
Well, see, the funny thing is I've seen way more creative ground mounts than I've ever seen in flying mounts. I mean, look at EverQuest 2. You had the jumping raptor. That thing was cool. The first time I got that, I was jumping like, wee!
Right, and the day I lost all faith in the mount system in EverQuest 2 was when they introduced the damn hamster and the damn duck.
Yeah, the silly mounts are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That when you see that stuff, they obviously don't care about the game anymore.
It's like with Terror. I remember Terror, man. People driving around in a fantasy game in a freaking police car or a sports car.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
If that kind of stuff ever happened in Pantheon, I'd be like, right, that's it. I'm done. So stick to the theme, the genre, the time you're in. Even
if you're in a fantasy game, there's still a lot of things you do. I mean, you could technically pull off steampunk and not go against your game.
But what about flying mounts as forms of travel within a zone? Like in, EverQuest.
You're talking like EverQuest 2.
Griffin stations and things like that.
Yeah. I actually don't mind that because in EverQuest 2, they were very scenic routes.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually enjoyable to fly. When you do it the first few times, you do it like 10 or more times, you're kind of like, oh my god, just freaking take me there already.
That was a funny thing as well with EverQuest 2. I think one of their updates, basically, you went to the Griffin station, then you open up the map where you wanted to travel, and then you would click on it, and you were instantly there. It's like, what's the point? Let's take this system out. Get rid of the Griffin Tower. It's not needed anymore. If you're going to just port me from here to there.
Right. Unfortunately, though, the whole mount discussion is a split.
Yeah.
There's
easy one.
No way you're going to make everybody happy. There's just no way. It's one of these things where it's like if Pantheon has flying mounts, is it going to be a deal breaker for me?
Well, I got it.
Maybe not.
No, I've got it, right?
But
I've got it. Right, here we go. Here's the solution for the industry. Are you ready, everybody? You have flound mounts.
You can straight up go duck yourself.
Right, you have a flound mount.
No.
It can't really fly, and it's not really on the ground. It's a flound.
No. Nope.
Hey, Jan, what are you doing? I'm flounding. I mean, come on.
Oh, don't get me wrong. You flounder a lot.
Let's move on. Josh, you got anything to add?
No.
Huh? Flounding? Huh? Buzzword 2020? In one word, describe your feelings about gold farming. Murder!
Death.
Murder, death,
just kill them all.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, isn't that what I said?
Yes.
Murder, death, kill.
How straight.
I knew a guy that he used to sell gold in Guild Wars 1. I don't think I've ever punched anybody that hard before. And I've punched a lot of people.
That used to tick me off, like when you get this private message all of a sudden. Hey, go to this website, you can buy gold for this. Game killer.
Yeah.
It's a game killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And you just suddenly see this cave that has got great harvesting opportunities, and all of a sudden you've got about 10 people that are just monopolizing the area, but they're not talking. You try and speak to them, do nothing back.
Yep.
Because they're farming the place 24/7. No.
Gold farming the same as gold selling? In my opinion, yes. Unless you're farming it for yourself.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Because you're just as bad. If you're farming it just to sell it, or you're selling it, you're one enables the other. So you're just as bad.
Is,
it's like who's bad, a drug addict or the drug dealer.
Right, the thing is, right, gold farming's one thing. You're doing, you're basically farming the materials to sell, to sell on for real money. Anything in game from that game that gets turned into real money should be forbidden. It's not your property. Read the EULA. Everything that you do in any of these MMOs is owned by the company. Your character that you create, the way it looks, they can just come up and turn around and say, we're taking that character away from you because we like it so much.
Yeah.
You can't do
RMT is a completely separate issue.
No, but it's the same thing though, right?
It overlaps. It does overlap.
You're basically going to farm, selling gold in-game, or selling items in-game to make lots of gold that you put onto a website to sell for real currency. It's exactly the same thing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it's that doesn't apply. I'm just saying that it's its whole other freaking mountain.
Yeah.
But like in the end of it, if you're like, okay, if you consider gold just like farming mats, if you're farming gold that you're going to use, there's no problem. There's no problem at all. You're actually doing what you should be doing. You are spending your time to earn cash to put into the economy.
Exactly.
But when I say a gold farmer, I'm talking about people who farm gold at the expense of anything, even to the point of using exploits to sell to other players.
Yeah.
That's what I hear when I hear gold farm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Anything to add, Josh?
No, that's it.
During debate, December 16th, what is something that you personally consider an immersion breaker in MMORPGs? Adding in taxis and flying,
I was gonna say stupid
Apart from what
mounts.
we've spoken about.
Apart from what we spoke about, oh Jesus!
Adding in stupid shit that doesn't belong in that game.
Yeah,
it's a
crap
game.
that is obviously a money grab.
Yeah, I'm in a fantasy game where I have wizards and dwarves and swords and things, and now all of a sudden I can purchase a spacesuit. That's immersion breaking.
Right. It's like now I can dress up like a sexy nurse, and it's like,
yeah.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. I'm a guy who appreciates a sexy nurse, but I'm not playing a game one-handed. We'll say I'm not 15, so I'm not gonna endorse that.
Or all of a sudden, all the mobs change because it's a theme of a certain month. They change into spiders because it's Halloween now. Or they suddenly
Yeah, I
change
used to hate
into...
that shite in EverQuest too, man. It's Phosphel season! Whee! Oh, it's Halloween! Oh, God, and everywhere you would look, it was, oh my word, really?
Yeah, dungeons.
Everything's a spider, but it's called a Yeti!
I did enjoy doing the events that they had, the instances and things like that. Not Phosphel, Halloween. But there's a thin line, to how far you should go with that. Anyway, that's a different one. So, yeah.
But yeah, like multi-boxing?
Mm-hmm.
That's not on his list.
No, that's what I said in chat. But, I mean, multi-boxing is one of those things where it's not really the multi-boxing that bugs me, it's the players that do it. Mm-hmm. Because more often than not, they're only out to help themselves, and they don't give two craps about the community or the game. Now, if you were multi-boxing, you help people, you run groups with people, you help people earn stuff for crafting or help them with quests, that's fine. I got no issue with your multi-boxing. But if you're running a raid and you're locking down mobs, you can go straight to hell, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm on the, I'm in the middle with this one, because at the end of the day, the way I see it, for me, it's a legitimate action, because at the end of the day, who are we to, point fingers at somebody that's multi-boxing? That guy purchased 5 copies of that game. He's paying 5 subscriptions for that game. He's actually putting that money towards that game. So who are we to judge him for that? And then there's the other side of it as well.
I'm me. That's why.
Why do some people multi-box? because they don't, the different time zones or different shifts of work and everything, and they only group with a certain, group of people. And when they're not there, they use the time to, bring up their alts to help the guild further along later on down the road. So it's one of those fine lines, like you said. This also comes into account, though, as long as they are willing to drop that multi-boxing and help somebody that's asking for help, or see somebody, or take the time to help him out, or answer a question in chat, I'm perfectly fine with that. I have absolutely no problem with it, because that guy is paying for it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it just comes down to, are you helping? Are you being a part of the community? Are you interacting with people like the game is designed? Then there's no real problem, because you're not hindering the game.
It's one of those things where you treat him like a gold farmer. Send him a message. Does he reply back? If not, put him on the ignore list. And hey, he's a bad person.
Well, no, because the ignore list doesn't mean he's not going to run through his zone and kill everything as he's running past, and you're sitting there camping something for 3 hours.
No, but or spread the word that he's a bad person, things like that. There's means.
But that's the thing. That's the thing with a multi-boxer. It doesn't matter. You're manner.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you go and complaining about it, right? The more people complain about it, the more will be done against that person. So he might get flagged as for PvP for a week, where he's killed on sight. So no matter what he does, he's killed on sight, and he might have a 10% drop in his stats. So he's easy pickings for everybody. Get these people to stop. You've got to give people. You have to, find ways. It's a fine line to determine punishment and who's a good person, who's a bad person, this, that, and the other. It's one of those things where it's always going to be difficult to determine where do you draw the line and how do you basically go about things like this. Let the community self-police is the best way to go about it. There's no headache for the dev company, because you're always going to have that argument, and it goes without saying, the same laws apply in game than they do in real life. Innocent until proven guilty. Period. Right? And
does that mean somewhere out there there's going to be a goblin sign?
No, but the thing is, though, right? It's one of those things where, how do you determine if somebody's a good person or a bad person based on what values? Just because you have a personal grudge or grievance with multi-boxers or gold farmers or this or that, who are we to say that because of my personal grievances or my personal values or my personal way of seeing things, I think that what you've done is wrong? I mean, there's games out there that do have this kind of punishment system, where they have a tribunal, where somebody gets accused of something and the players actually have a tribunal about it and set punishment out. But the thing is, it's one of those things where you have to find the right way to go about it. Because at the end of the day, who are we to, call things out like that?
I'm a stranger on Twitch, and sometimes on YouTube. That's all that matters, and that's all that matters in this age.
It's a very difficult topic, and it's I don't know. Anyway, Josh, anything to add? To say?
No, I totally agree with that.
Nothing beyond Jesus with these idiots.
I've already spoken at length to you and to everybody about what I think of people that multi-box. But yeah.
Yeah, come on, Josh. Let's tell the. I'm going to tell you the truth. Josh does it all the time.
Yeah, sure. Can't stand it.
Actually, I do.
I do as well. I multi-box my wife when I'm playing. Yeah. I'll log in.
La 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 la. I don't need to hear about your bedroom antics.
Yeah, that actually. Yeah, now that I think about it, wait.
Yeah. Bye bye PG-13.
That just went completely.
But I mean, no. I mean, EverQuest 1. I multi-boxed near the end of my career. I multi-boxed in EverQuest EMU. I multi-boxed in Guild Wars 1. I multi-boxed in Guild Wars 2. I've done there, but my philosophy's always been, I do it when there's no one around that I can affect their gameplay.
Yeah, but isn't that
because the minute that I affect their gameplay, I'm the bad guy.
See, and that's a prime example though, Lex, where it becomes difficult for community policing, right? Because who are we to say that, you say you do it like that, right? And so does the other person who's being accused of doing it. Now, that's where this is a trick. That's where this would become a tricky situation, to kind of, judge you and judge the other one. Who's good, who's bad, You multi-box.
It's actually pretty simple. Because, I'll take the EverQuest 1 example. You're down in Lower Gook. You're camping for the FBSS. All of a sudden, someone walks by with a full group of characters. They're all following one character. He's multi-box, and they walk in and they just decimate the place. And you've been there for an hour.
Yeah.
That's a bad person. Plain and simple. No way around it. That's a bad person.
Yeah.
If it was me and I was multi-boxing, I would go down. I'd look. Someone's there. Okay, I'm out. I'll go somewhere else. Because I don't want to affect that person's gameplay. But I'm also not trying to be a pile of garbage.
Yeah. Right, anyway, that's a topic for itself, I think, as well.
Yes.
Hot topic, no drop items. What are your thoughts on them? Well, if it's a no drop item, then I'm not going to get that item, am I? Because it's a no drop item.
Exactly.
It's stuck to my hand.
I can't get that item.
Why can't I unequip it?
So, yeah, I don't want no drop items, because if it's no drop item, I can't get it, but I want it, then, I'm going to be upset. Taking it literally.
This is a tough one. This really is. Because I've played a lot of EverQuest emulators, and a lot of people are fans of removing no drop. And a lot of times it's worked. Even on live, was it the Furiona Vi server, I think, was the no drop removed server, or RP server, I think. And it worked well for them. My problem kind of stems with when there's no limitation put on who can use an item. Like, say you have a sword that virtually anyone can use, and it guarantees that you're going to do a max hit almost every time. Or it's got a freaking effect on it that heals you for, 5 times your hit points just because of your low level. Then I don't agree with not having a no drop item, because something like that should stay out of that person's hands somehow. But if there are things put in place like the recommended level where, this effect doesn't work until you're level 46 or higher, or the stats are, until you level up and it grows with you, then I'm all for removing no drop. But there has to be something there to stop things from getting stupid.
Yeah, I think that's situational. I think it depends how the game treats them. Ultimately, on certain items. Certain items obviously should be definitely droppable. But the only reason why they have no drop items is so they don't cheapen those items. So that you don't go farming raid zones and selling those items off to X, Y, and Z player out there and basically skew the game. So there's that problem that occurs when it comes to the no drop items.
And sometimes it's because the loot table's broken, they don't know how to fix it. So guess what, we'll just add no drop to it.
Can I add an alternative perspective to that, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a high level guild has something on farm and they're farming it just to sell the drops.
Mm-hmm.
Selling the drops does kind of alter the economy. You'd know more about that than I would. But essentially, through gearing up other people, that's creating more competition. And if this is something that's just on farm for them, like they have no actual game besides monetary, when there's enough competition, they would just move off to something else anyway. they're technically just bringing the level of everybody else up, almost effectively gearing their competition.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. My only worry is if it cheapens the game for those people because they can just effectively buy the best items in the game, type of thing, they'd never be able to achieve if they put effort and time into it. Those people might just bugger off and leave the game because they might get bored of it, because it's like, oh well, I just have to wait for the top guild to start farming this stuff, then I can just buy it from them, type of a thing. So there is the double-edged version to this that can be good, but also can be bad.
No, that's a very fair point.
Yeah, it's one of those situations, isn't it? You know, it depends how they tier the item and the items and their value. You know, based on the levels, the tiers, what type of engagement is it? You know, compared to raid content versus group content versus single content versus levels, this, that, and the other. It all comes. There's so many things that factor into this that make it a hot topic like it is, because without knowing more on the whole loot table and what the core focus is going to be and how items in general are going to be handled and valued and weighed in and considered and this, that, and the other, it's a tricky one to really give a straight shooter answer to it. Yes, no, hate it, love it, because we don't know what their approach is going to be. If high level items can only be achieved through raiding, like Josh said, people,
or even if let's say all high level items, when they drop, they're in a locked state, at which point they are tradable, but you have to do a quest line or go to a crafter and get some expensive work done to unlock it, to make it its full potential. All of a sudden, the implications of being able to trade this item aren't really that massive. Because it's like there's still that
potential still needs to be unlocked. Yeah,
right. But Coach came up with a good one too about how no drop items potentially, hinder real money transfers.
Yeah.
It's like, can't sell an item if you can't give it to them.
Exactly.
It's one of those balancing things, though, right? Because we've all seen it happen in situations in all the games that we play, where there's a high drop of this no drop item, but nobody in the group can use it. Right, and it becomes a trash item. Whereas, I could have given this to somebody outside of our group or within our guild or whatever, somebody who could have used it. And I see this happen in EverQuest 2 time and again. You go into the zone, you go into this dungeon, time in, time out, week on, week out, for months on end. And it's always the same crap, and it's always a no-drop item that no bugger can bloody use. And it's like, what the hell is the point of this?
Well, it's a way to limit it's a way to limit items that are in the economy or in circulation. So
I understand the reason behind it, but sometimes it's just like it's so frustrating. You go in there for months on end trying to farm this item or get this item that you've been searching for. I remember this happening with me with Runny Eye 2, the cloak that they had for your class. I was after my Warden's cloak for like 6 months. I surpassed that level, went in there to help some friends, to show them the game, this, that, and the other, and guess what drops? I'm like level 100 already, right? This is level 80. The fucking cloak. Like 2 years later.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me? Really?
Right.
I go in that zone.
It would be nice if
times, and it never drops, and now 20 levels later, now it drops.
When items become no longer current or valid, I guess, you'd think that their no drop would be removed. Although one thing I do have to say is Grizzly said if we get gift slots to put stuff into, and all I'm going to say to that is giggity.
No giggity, no doubt.
I got something to put in the gift slot.
Hey,
All right.
You've got words coming out your mouth today, dude.
I know, and I'm biting my tongue every time I just I get so close to speaking. I'm like, no, don't say it.
Right,
I think they'll always try and get around it, and you never question how they got around it was that the people would go ahead and beat the boss and not open the chest.
Yeah,
and you join
yeah.
the group, and then you'd open it up, type thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, there shouldn't be a reason to have to do that in the first place, though.
Exactly.
As long as you can think of an alternative way to pull active items out of circulation, then I agree.
You know, it's not the point of the game that I have to, you know, we can cheat the game by, guess what? You leave the group, I'll invite that person into the group, and then we'll open the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not the point of the game. That's an exploit, technically. You're overcoming the way, you know, the way the distribution of items should be done. But the thing is, at the same time, though, the developers allow it. You know, so. Anyway. See, hot topic. There you have it.
It is a very hot topic, and we're not talking about the garbage emo store.
All right, so here we go. These ones are, you know, really good. We've had our big shows on these ones as well. Community debate, holiday events. Now that Christmas is behind us, do you like seeing real-world holiday events celebrating in MMORPG fantasies world settings?
No, come up with your own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That correlate to the lore. It is.
Exactly.
It is not the world we live in.
Yep. Totally agree with that
You
as
know,
well.
I don't mind them using the inspiration of, you know, a fair, or, you know, winter time, springtime, you know, Woodstock, fucking any kind of event we've had in real life, right? But built, like you said, on the lore of the races. So maybe the Darkmere, they celebrate 7 days of life and death of their queen, right? It's a 7-day event that they celebrate. The Scar, they have celebrations at every 3 days.
Eating
where
babies.
A youngling
They basically celebrate the priestess that was turned into the breeding wench.
Yeah, you know,
every year, and they eat all the children.
You know, because that's another thing as well. This, you know, everybody, the equal rights, right? You know, just to kind of touch a bit on politics here, but it comes down to, again, the way they design their games is, well, if we do it for one race, we've got to do it for the other. So if their holiday lasts, you know, 3 weeks, then we have to do it for the other race. Why? If the law is written that way, that they celebrate 7 days, but the other one celebrates it every 3 months, and the other one celebrates it every 3 days, then go ahead and do that. If it's only celebrated within that race and nobody else is allowed to take part in it, then so be it.
Right.
You know?
Well, see, the thing is, doing your own lore holidays is also a safer route to go, because someone can't say, "Oh, you know, if the Christians get a Christmas theme, why can't the Jews get a Hanukkah theme?" It's like, it's a freaking game, people. Calm down. So just make your own. Don't even have to correlate to holidays in the real world. Just have fun with it.
Create your own. Yeah, that's what creation is all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, create worlds, and it's meant to be, you know, it's your game. At the end of the day, it's your fucking game. You do how you please, how you want to do it, and don't give a damn what other people have to say at the end of the day. People don't like it, then don't fucking play it. That's how I see it.
There's a simple solution.
Yep.
Unsubscribe.
Exactly. Just because you do not get your way, who are we in the community to fucking go ahead and say, I'm not playing your game anymore because this and that? Well, guess what? Don't play my fucking game and move on. Because everybody that looks into Pantheon or is interested in it, watches a stream, watches, you know, the options are there for us to look at the game before we, you know, go and put money towards it or invest in the game and this, that, and the other. Nobody can say that I didn't know any different, right? If you didn't know any different, then you must be a very dull person to not know any different. We have no right to say anything. You know, if you don't like a certain system, then don't play the game. Stop complaining about it. Period.
But complaining is virtually all I do. I complain, I code, I breathe, I go to the bathroom. Well, and I drink.
Yeah, so holiday events, come up with your own. And be creative. And if one race celebrates the holiday for 15 days, then they do. And the other one doesn't, I don't care. That's what makes it unique. You know, if you wanna be, you know, you want to offer equality and diversity and all this kind of crap to stay politically correct, well, you could have like maybe one day in the month. Every race is invited to celebrate that holiday, but only for one day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fine. And if I miss out for 3 months in a row, then it's tough luck. You know, you can't make it perfect for everyone, and you can't please everyone. You know, when you ask your boss, hey boss, I want to have leave in summer, there's certain rules and obligations and privileges. You know, you can't always get what you want.
See, I never get the time off because my boss is a D-bag.
Anyway.
For those of you that don't know, I'm
here.
Self-employed.
And again, now this one's a little bit better. Community debate, world events. Do you like random or predictable world events, or would you rather stick to normal structured content?
I like a mixture of both. Because sometimes I can't make the random ones.
Actually, a mixture of all three. Yeah. I mean, if it's... That's one of the things that bugged me in EverQuest too. The world events that they put in the game, they were so predictable.
Yeah,
and it was down to the day of the month and everything, like the moon. What was it? What was that moon thingy thing that they had in the game with the moon light, whatever it was called, or the rift events that they had? It was all down to the same thing, and it was like it got boring after a while.
Well, that again goes towards the frequency. If something happens a lot, you get bored of it quickly. Now, if you did something where you told GMs, hey, every 5 to 8 months, we'll say, you guys can go and do something, have an event in game. Okay? You can announce it. You can do it by surprise if you want. That's fine. Either way, you just got to do something with the community. Because, I mean, there are some events where it's like, if I know what's going on, I'm going to be there. I just don't care. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about when you're in game and all of a sudden like the screen starts shaking and everyone starts yelling. You're like, oh my god, what's going on? This guy is falling. I need to go see this.
But it's like this though, Lex, right? Predictable events don't always have to be predictable though, do they?
No, well, I mean more like, you know, they actually announce it in terms of predictability. Like I can plan my busy schedule to be free for 2 hours on Friday.
The thing what I'm getting at, Lex, is though, even a predictable event can be made unpredictable. It's programmed content. You know, hey, guess what? We're having a hotfix today at noon. The servers will be down for 4 hours. You put the servers down for 4 hours. You come back. Now that predictable world event that you're taking part is now unpredictable. The encounter has additional mobs, or the encounter looks completely different, or the encounter has 10 times the amount of hit points that it had before. You're like, what the fuck happened here?
PG-13!
We went past that long ago.
I was going to say, you're swearing more than I am.
We went past that long ago. But, you know, that's the thing. It comes down to how much invested is the game company behind it, the dev team behind their product, to actually... No,
I don't think invested is how much they love their product.
Oh yes, you know, there's still an investment. You have to be invested. That comes with love and passion. That's what that means.
Well, investment to me feels more like they have to do something because they need the return on the investment.
You know,
if you do something out of the love of it,
passionate and how much love do you have behind your product? You know. Even if it costs you money or it costs you additional time that you don't really have, You know, these are things, all these things we've discussed today, all the you know, nuances back and forth. It's the small things that will pay out in the long run. You have to think about the long-term investment rather than the short-term investment or the short-term cost that will come with it.
You know what? I can see a shirt coming out that says Pantheon or Visionary Realms bringing love back to MMOs.
What about you, Josh? World events, predictable?
Well, I said right at the beginning, I said all three as well.
Right.
I do think that predictability is, if people just get bored of it, then you just wasted all your time with that code. Rather make it fun, you know, like everybody will always remember the WoW situation where it wasn't even something that they programmed, but it was that disease that was a disease that started killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the WoW one, yeah,
and spread throughout the whole server. And people were trying to stop it and that type of thing. So things like that, people never forget. And if the developers can get that type of scenario right, then they've got winners on their hands.
Yep. All right. 2 more to go.
He said, Josh just said a lot more meaningful stuff in less words than both of us.
Hot topic. Engagement versus completionism versus diversity.
Completionism?
What are your thoughts on this?
I'm a little lost on this question. It's like, well, where does engagement? I mean, if you're playing the game, you're engaged. Completionism is having to do everything. It's almost like an OCD.
You know, you want to do everything.
Right.
And words that don't even relate to one another.
It's kind of, exactly, Josh. It's all connected. I want the game to have a lot of diversity within the character development and the class development and the world development, the environment. Everything has to be unique and different looking and this and that and accept and blah blah blah. I'm also somebody that wants to complete everything. Raiding, questing, perception, crafting, seeing every zone, every inch of every zone, blah blah blah. And I want to be engaged. So I don't see where. It's just one of those things where you have to choose one of the three.
There are some times where I feel like a completionist where there's certain things I just have to do.
Yeah.
Mostly to prove to myself I can.
Shinies.
No. Shinies can go to hell. And right next to the person that designed them. But for the most part, I'm not a completionist. I'm very much just goal-oriented. Like, this is my goal. I reach that goal. Yeah. Okay, what's my next goal? Go here. So I think in this case, I'm going to have to side with diversity. And I say that with a big question mark at the end.
I mean, who was it? Coach. He's basically put out a good point there. I could have clicked on the topic before I came into this, or before we came into the show, and I had a quick read down what they're trying to do. This could actually mean that he says basically completionism entails forcing you to do everything to move on.
Oh hell no.
Versus diversity, where it's a matter of choice and free will versus time engagement maybe, or something like that.
Maybe. No, this is another one of like a little more clarification, please.
Well, we could have got. Hey, Lex, right? How much clarity can they give you? Click on the frickin' link and read it.
I don't want to read the forums.
We could have clicked on that link and read it. But hey, that's what the VOT do. We don't prepare for anything. We just run our mouth.
Well, hey. For a while, people were like, people calling me the scriptless because I don't read scripts. I just, even when we do a scripted player Q&A, it's just like, hey, Lex, it's your turn, huh? Oh, where are we?
Right.
And I briefly skim it and come up with my own question.
We have one before the last. In one word, describe your gaming persona in MMORPGs. Lex.
Odd.
Josh.
Crazy.
Controlling.
Yeah, I can believe that one. Well, I think it's safe to say that the persona in game reflects your inner
life.
persona.
Exactly.
And I am an odd duck.
How you are in game is how you are in real life. It's so true. And Josh, no, you're not crazy. You're nuts.
Oh no, he's on the show with us.
Exactly.
That doesn't exactly go to the sanity
actually,
set.
that makes you two both crazy. You're on the show with me.
Oh, I knew I was crazy on episode 4.
Exactly. You regret me replying to you. You regret sending me that tweet.
I do.
Right, here we go. So here's the final one. January 23rd. Scenario. You get offered a lot of in-game currency to help someone kill a mini named mob. Do you help? And if so, do you take the money or do you do it for free? You answered this one already, Lex. So, Josh?
Yeah, I would do it for free.
For me, it's situational. Right? This is where the control comes in. I'll basically inspect this person, see what kind of gear he's got. If I see he's got top-notch gear, then I'm taking your money. Because you either belong to a big guild or a guild, a big raid force or something like that. So I'm going to take every ounce of cash I can get from you. And I'll help you, and I'll help you further on as well. So I'm not just going to stop there. If we're having fun, I'll help you even further. But it's one of those things where yes, I will inspect you and see who I'm dealing with.
I hate it when people inspect my junk.
I'll help you regardless, but I'll inspect you to see who I'm dealing with. And if it's somebody that is somewhat maybe unexperienced, new to the game, or seems he doesn't have a clue, I'll help you out. I don't care about your money.
Carry grey items when you ask Yarn for help. Well, I mean, like I said, I replied to this. For me, it's a case of, do I have the time? If I have the time and nobody's waiting on me, of course I'm going to. There's no question about it. I'm going to help them. And no, I'm not going to take the damn money, because killing is its own reward. Because that is the way of the Dire Lord. You do it for the kill.
Okay, look at that. I can see this. Oh, the slime is. Oh my god, my hands. Oh, Lex. Yep. So that was basically the last pondering that we had. So the next pondering will be May. I think we'll do these every 3 months. That's a good time frame to gather tweets. Obviously, we'll have to see how things develop with the production of the game going forward. If they put out a lot more tweets in this regard, then we'll have these a little more frequent. But yeah, expect the next one to be in May, where we'll do the next ponderings. Like I said already, we won't be here next week because I got other privileges in real life to attend to. But we will be back on the 8th.
Start the 70s porn music.
We'll be back on the 8th of February, and we will talk about the weather system. We will look at global weather, localized weather, global weather like we know it in real life, where weather actually basically goes from one area to the next. Global weather in the sense of how VR kind of put it out there, with if it's sunny in one zone, it's sunny in every zone, kind of thing. And we'll look at also what kind of effects and things we would like to see happen, because again, with going like this, with having a mixed system of global and localized weather, You can do a lot of things that are spontaneous, very rare, and come up with some really crazy ideas. And like Lex already pointed out, he's already got some ideas on how to do that, so it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. And that will happen on February the 8th, so we'll see you in 2 weeks' time, everyone. Josh, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Lex, you're just going to wave, yeah?
Yeah, kill yous all later.
Yep, and since nobody, Lex or Josh, came out and said it, Shy, I hope you feel better. See you soon.
Get better or die trying.
Take care, everyone. See you next
Cheers, guys.
next time on the
Take
8th of February. Don't forget.